I do feel like I'm in the happiest and strongest place.
In the world of pop royalty, Noah Cyrus was never just herself. She was always someone's sister, the daughter of country icon Billy Ray Cyrus, the younger sibling of global superstar Miley Cyrus, born into fame, but never into belonging, from her first breath. The spotlight was already waiting, but it wasn't hers. Every move she made was measured against another's success, every word compared, every song overshadowed. So how does someone born in another person's shadow find her own light? How does a girl who grew up watching fame devour her family turn her pain into art and her voice into a weapon of truth? Because Noah's story isn't about fame, it's about survival, the kind that doesn't make headlines, but saves souls. This is the journey of a young woman who faced addiction, heartbreak, and the crushing weight of legacy, and somehow sang her way out of the darkness. This is Noah Cyrus, the girl who turned her scars into songs. Noah Lindsay Cyrus was born on January 8, 2000 in Nashville, Tennessee, into one of America's most famous musical dynasties. Her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, was a country superstar. Her mother, Tish, managed the family's creative empire, and her older sister, Miley, was already a global phenomenon before Noah even became a teenager. From the outside, it looked like a dream. Fame, music, success. But for Noah, it often felt like a stage she didn't choose to stand on. Growing up in a household constantly under the camera's gaze, she learned early that love could feel conditional, and that silence sometimes spoke louder than applause. School wasn't much easier. While other kids saw her as Miley's little sister, few saw her. The comparisons were constant, cruel, and inescapable. The more she tried to fit in, the more she felt invisible. At home, chaos wasn't rare. The Cyrus family, like the world around them, was always shifting between fame and fracture. Divorce rumors, media scrutiny, and public controversies became the background noise of her childhood. Amid that noise, Noah found one refuge: music. In her room, with a cheap keyboard and a notebook full of lyrics, she began to write about her pain. Even before the world knew her name, her voice was already whispering. Soft, broken, but real. Noah's first steps into the spotlight were quiet, almost hesitant. As a child, she appeared in small TV roles, sometimes beside her father or sister. But the fame that surrounded her family never felt like home. What she wanted wasn't the noise of attention. It was the peace of creation. At just 16, she began writing her own songs, fragile, haunting, and brutally honest. In 2016, she released Make Me Cry, a collaboration with British artist Labyrinth. The song wasn't a polished pop anthem. It was raw emotion, trembling vocals, aching lyrics, and a heartbreak that felt real. Almost overnight, the world turned its eyes toward her. But the headlines didn't say, "Noah Cyrus debuts a hit." They said, "Miley's sister releases emotional single." It was both a triumph and a reminder. Her identity still wasn't fully hers. Yet, in that moment, Noah discovered something powerful. The world might compare her, but her voice could never be duplicated. While others chased fame, she began chasing truth, crafting songs about anxiety, heartbreak, and the loneliness behind the filters of social media. Her sound was unlike anything her family had done before: darker, quieter, more human. And in every note, Noah Cyrus was learning how to speak for the first time, in her own language. By the late 2010s, Noah Cyrus had transformed from Miley's sister into something entirely different: an artist who dared to show her wounds instead of hiding them. Her debut EP, Good Cry 2018, wasn't made for the charts. It was made for survival. Each track was a confession: heartbreak, confusion, loneliness. Critics began to notice the depth behind her whispery voice. Fans connected not to perfection, but to pain. Then came The End of Everything, 2020, a project that marked her true artistic arrival. With haunting ballads like July and Lonely, Noah stripped away the glitter and left only emotion. Her voice, fragile yet defiant, became her signature. The world finally stopped comparing her. For the first time, people said, "That's Noah." Her lyrics were journal entries set to music, quiet storms of vulnerability. She didn't sing to impress, she sang to survive. Billboard, Rolling Stone, and The Guardian praised her for bringing honesty back to pop. But behind the applause, Noah was still fighting battles no one could see. Fame hadn't cured her sadness. It had only amplified it. Even as her songs reached millions, she often felt alone, like her success belonged to another version of herself. Still, she kept creating. When The Hardest Part, 2022, released, Noah's artistry reached a new peak. With rootsy production and emotional storytelling, it earned her a Grammy nomination and universal respect. In a world obsessed with image, Noah Cyrus had done the impossible. She made vulnerability her brand. She didn't just find her sound, she found her truth. But behind the glow of stage lights, Noah Cyrus was falling apart. Fame had finally found her, and with it came the same darkness that haunted so many before her. Years of pressure, comparisons, and heartbreak began to take their toll. Noah turned to prescription pills to numb the pain, to quiet the thoughts that wouldn't stop. What started as help quickly became a dependency. A silent spiral she hid behind her soft smile and long sleeves. Social media became both her weapon and her wound. Every photo was dissected, every move analyzed, every emotion questioned. She was labeled the sad Cyrus, the broken one, the rebel. But no one saw the sleepless nights, the shaking hands, the fear of losing control. Then came the moment she couldn't hide anymore. In interviews and on Instagram, Noah broke her silence, revealing her battle with addiction and mental health. Her words were raw. "I felt like I wasn't enough, not even for myself." The confession shocked the public. It stripped away the last layer of celebrity illusion, showing a young woman not chasing fame, but fighting for survival. For months, she disappeared from the spotlight. No performances, no posts, no cameras, just silence. And in that silence, Noah finally began to heal. The scandal didn't destroy her career. It exposed her humanity. And for the first time, the world wasn't looking at Miley's sister or Billy Ray's daughter. They were looking at Noah Cyrus, a girl brave enough to show her cracks and call it recovery. When Noah Cyrus returned, she didn't come back with fireworks or headlines. She came back with peace. After completing rehab and months of therapy, she began rebuilding her life from the inside out. This time, it wasn't about proving herself. It was about saving herself. Her comeback wasn't a spectacle. It was a whisper that grew into a roar. In 2022, The Hardest Part became her rebirth. A deeply personal album filled with stories of addiction, forgiveness, and healing. Every lyric sounded like a confession written at 3 a.m., every note trembling with the weight of truth. Noah described the album as the most honest I've ever been, and it showed. Her music became therapy not just for her, but for millions who saw themselves in her words. Gone was the image of the fragile little sister. In her place stood a woman who owned her pain, who turned suffering into strength. On stage, she appeared in minimal makeup, soft light, and a calm voice that seemed at peace with itself. Her performances weren't about fame anymore. They were about connection. Noah had reinvented herself, not through reinvention of sound or style, but through acceptance. She learned that healing isn't a comeback, it's a beginning. Today, Noah Cyrus stands as one of the most authentic voices of her generation. Not because she's flawless, but because she's real. Her music doesn't chase trends or fame. It speaks to the quiet struggles so many hide. Depression, addiction, heartbreak. She turned them into art, and in doing so, helped others feel less alone. Noah's journey isn't about escaping her family's shadow. It's about proving that even in the darkest corners of fame, light can still grow. Her voice, fragile, trembling, and beautiful, has become a symbol of survival. She once said, "I stopped trying to be perfect. I just wanted to be honest." And that honesty became her legacy. Because Noah Cyrus didn't need to be the next Miley or the next pop queen. She became something far rarer, an artist who dared to tell the truth even when it hurt. Her story reminds us that healing is not weakness, it's courage. And through that courage, Noah Cyrus didn't just find her voice. She gave one to an entire generation. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories that reveal the heart behind the fame.